Lisa Chen had been stationed on Kepler 442b for 8 months now, and she still wasn't used to the silence. The research outpost hummed with machinery, but beyond its walls, the alien forest held secrets that humanity was only beginning to understand. The Vicari were those secrets made flesh. When first contact happened 3 years ago, Earth's xenobiologists had been stunned. The Vicari were apex predators, sleek scaled creatures with retractable claws that could shred titanium alloy, and eyes that saw in spectrums humans couldn't imagine. They stood 7 feet tall with muscular frames built for hunting and killing. Their society was tribal, efficient, and utterly foreign. The Galactic Council had warned Earth, these are not creatures to befriend. They hunt, they kill. They do not bond. Lisa had learned differently. It started small. A Vicari hunting party had approached the outpost perimeter one morning, not with hostility, but with what the translator algorithm struggled to interpret as curiosity. James Rodriguez, the outpost security chief, had nearly initiated defensive protocols. Lisa had stopped him with a hand on his arm and a whisper, "Let me try." She'd walked out alone, unarmed, her hands visible and empty. The lead hunter, a scarred female the team would later name Tasha, had tilted her head in a distinctly predatory fashion, pupils dilating and contracting as she analyzed this strange, soft creature. Lisa had simply sat down in the grass and waited. 3 hours later, Tasha had approached close enough to touch. Her clawed hand had hovered over Lisa's hair, fascinated by its softness. That moment had changed everything. Now, 6 months after that first contact, Lisa's quarters had become something unprecedented in xenological history, a cross-species sanctuary. The scratching at her window came at 200 hours. Lisa stirred from sleep, her augmented eyes adjusting to the darkness. Through the transparent aluminum she saw them. 3 small shapes, their scales dulled with rain, their body language screaming distress. Vicari cubs. Young ones barely past their first molt. Lisa's heart clenched. She'd learned enough of their biology to know that cubs this young shouldn't be out alone. Something had gone wrong. She opened the window and they tumbled inside with desperate speed, their small claws clicking against the floor. They were shivering. Vicari didn't handle cold rain well, and their eyes darted around her room with primal fear. "It's okay," Lisa whispered, knowing they couldn't understand English but hoping her tone would translate. "You're safe here." She retrieved her thermal quilt, a hybrid design that adapted to body temperature, and spread it on her bed. The cubs watched her with those unsettling, intelligent eyes. The smallest one chirped, a sound like breaking glass mixed with wind chimes. Lisa sat on the floor, making herself non-threatening, and waited. It took 20 minutes. The largest cub moved first, approaching with the careful steps of a creature learning to trust. It sniffed her hand, then her face, its forked tongue tasting the air around her. Finding no threat, it made a decision that would have horrified the Galactic Council. It climbed onto her, bed and burrowed under the quilt. The other 2 followed immediately after. Lisa smiled, that uniquely human expression that still confused most alien species, and carefully joined them. The quilt was large enough for all of them. She felt their small bodies pressed against her legs, seeking warmth and security. Their scales were smoother than she'd expected, almost like polished stone. The smallest one, bolder now, crawled up to rest its head near her shoulder. Its breathing gradually slowed from panicked gasps to steady rhythm. Lisa lay still, barely daring to move as these apex predators, these creatures that the galaxy feared, sought comfort in her presence. Hours passed. Lisa's communicator buzzed several times, but she ignored it. James would understand when she explained. The station's AI would note her biosigns and determine she was unharmed. Through her window, she occasionally saw shapes moving in the darkness. Adult Vicari, searching. They approached the outpost but didn't attack. Lisa realized with a start that they knew. They knew their cubs were here, and they were allowing it. Trust was a currency humans had been trading since they lived in caves. But trust between species, between predator and prey in the cosmic food chain, that was revolutionary. As false dawn painted the sky in shades of violet and gold, the cubs stirred. The largest one made a sound like purring thunder, and the others responded in kind. They emerged from the quilt slowly, their body temperature normalized, their fear replaced with something else. The smallest cub looked at Lisa directly and made a sound she'd never heard before. Soft, melodic, almost grateful. Then they were gone, slipping out the window with fluid grace, disappearing into the lightening forest where their family waited. James found Lisa an hour later, still sitting on her bed, the quilt wrapped around her shoulders. "The sensors picked up Vicari biosigns in your quarters," he said carefully. "Multiple juveniles." "I'm fine," Lisa interrupted, her voice thick with emotion. "Better than fine, actually. What happened?" Lisa looked at her friend and colleague, this man who'd trained to fight aliens but was learning to understand them instead. "Something the Galactic Council said was impossible. They trusted me. Not because I'm strong or dangerous, but because I'm human." James sat beside her, and together they watched the forest where the Vicari moved like shadows given life. "You know what the Council doesn't understand," Lisa continued. "They think humanity's greatest advantage is our technology, our adaptability, our stubbornness. But it's not. It's this," she touched her chest, "our ability to look at something terrifying and see something worth protecting. Our need to nurture, even when it's illogical. Our tendency to adopt anything that seems lonely." James chuckled. "We did domesticate wolves." "Exactly," Lisa smiled. "The galaxy sees predators and prey. We see potential friends who just need warmth and patience." She paused, then added softly, "We see children who need shelter from the storm." 3 weeks later, the Vicari Elder Council would formally request an alliance with humanity, not because of Earth's weapons or resources, but because, as Tasha would explain through the translation matrix, your people understand the sacred bond of protection. You guard the vulnerable even when they are not your own. This is the mark of true strength. But in that moment, as morning fully arrived on Kepler 442b, Lisa simply held her quilt and remembered the weight of 3 small predators sleeping peacefully against her, trusting a human to keep them safe until dawn. The galaxy would learn what humanity had always known. Sometimes, the most powerful force in the universe isn't technology or weaponry. It's the willingness to share your blanket with someone who's cold.